Howdy, this is Lemmy with RevZilla TV, here to talk to you today about Two Brothers Compass Exhaust for Harley Sportster and Dyna. You should be checking out a Compass exhaust for your Sporty or your Dyna if you are looking for a go-fast piece that stands out from the crowd. These things are currently being made for late model bikes, so those of you guys on rubber mount Sportsters, you are all covered. Those of you on Dyna's 06 and newer, you also have an offering from Two Brothers. Use our bike finder, throw your bike information in there. We're going to show you the stuff that fits your bike exactly, direct fit, first time, every time. Installation on these isn't too bad. You're looking at 2 beards on our BSD, or beard scale of difficulty. Most of you should be able to get this knocked out with basic hand tools and an afternoon of free time. Let's get right into things. Those of you who have a sport bike might be familiar with the Two Brothers name. They're super popular in the sport world. They make all sorts of go-fast items. They started, actually, believe it or not, as a factory-backed AMA team. So these guys are really good at making stuff go fast. They applied some of that knowledge into the Comp S system. Now, this is their first full system they developed for a Harley product, and it really does stand out for a couple of reasons. Firstly, when you're looking at these exhausts, I think everybody can see, especially on the stainless item you can see here. We've also got the black ceramic finish, but on the stainless item, it's really easy to see. They've got this awesome stainless tubing. You look, you can see how thin the wall is on this stuff. So this is going to be a solid exhaust. It's going to perform well, obviously, but it's also going to last, just like a heavy chrome steel unit. But due to the superior material choice here, it's going to be way lighter than either your stock heavy steel chrome system or even most of the aftermarket pieces out there too. Now, these things are made in the USA. It's important to me. I know it's important to a lot of you guys riding an American built bike too. They're also TIG welded, not MIG welded like a lot of the lower end exhausts you're going to see out there, and they're also TIG welded by hand. Check these things out. You can see this awesome heat signature here. They have these great beads. These things are really just beautifully done. Whoever is welding up their pipes is doing a very, very nice job. It seems almost a shame to put these heat shields over the top of them. The heat shields are also made of stainless, which is really, really cool. I like them because what they're going to do is provide a little air gap for you there. They're going to keep things from burning to your stainless exhaust, and they're also going to keep it looking like brand new. It's kind of funny. This is one of the few exhausts out there I feel like you could run without the heat shields and it would still look awesome. You'll get that deep gold color that stainless takes on as it heats up over time, and it's going to develop a little bit of character. However, if you want your exhaust to look, minty fresh like the day you bought it, you can also rock the heat shields on there, and it's going to maintain that just installed stainless look that looks so cool. So in terms of performance, as I mentioned, these things are really light. Now, they sound great. Give a listen to these. That's what everybody wants to hear first, but seriously, get your ears in these things. Hear this mellow rumble these things crank out. The thing sounds just plain nasty, right? So beyond that, you're also getting, of course, a freer flowing, less restrictive exhaust, but because this stuff is made of that lighter stainless, you're also dropping weight. It's kind of like a 1-2 combo punch as far as making your bike go a little bit quicker. Shaving weight is just as good as making horsepower in a lot of situations, and sometimes it's even better. Making horsepower makes your bike go faster when you're on the throttle. However, shaving weight makes your bike faster when you're on the throttle, but it also makes it handle better and stop better too. So when you can drop weight and make power at the same time, that's kind of a no-brainer for most of you guys. Now you can see over here too, we talked about that black ceramic finish. It's going to hold up for a really good long time. This isn't some cheapo finish. Sometimes some of the black finishes out there can, fade or corrode, discolor over time. Ceramic's not going to do that. It's going to stay looking good for a really long time. Now, some of the other nice touches they brought over kind of from the sport bike world, I think stand out, make these things look pretty cool. You can check out here this carbon fiber look nameplate. That thing looks awesome. On the end of this muffler, you can see this carbon end cap. They have this beautiful stainless socket head hardware in here holding that on, and you can also see the stainless insert on the end. This stuff is pure sex appeal. There's no reason for this from a performance aspect, except it looks awesome. It's kind of funny. Our cameraman is usually around when I'm installing this stuff on our motorcycles, and we rarely like the same bikes. We both fell in love with this exhaust when we saw it, and every single person that came into the shop while we were putting this thing up had something to say about it, and it was all good stuff. That's very rare for us here at RevZilla. We have a lot of different opinions, but everybody universally really liked this exhaust. Now when it comes to installation of this thing, I had mentioned this being a two-beard installation. Not going to be too difficult for most of you. You're going to need your typical assortment of hand tools, sockets, ratchets, wrenches, the regular stuff you need to work on your bike. You're also going to need a little bit of time, couple hours in an afternoon. You should be able to get this thing on there without too much effort. Now a couple things to think about when you're putting this up there. First, you're going to want to replace the exhaust gaskets. Almost always they get beat up a little bit during installation of your factory pipes. It's a good time, since you already have the exhaust down, to throw a fresh set in there. One of the other things you're going to want to consider too are the O2 sensors. You're either going to replace your factory O2 sensors in there, or perhaps have to plug it off depending on what type of fuel tuner you're using. I'm also kind of assuming you're going to be using a fuel tuner because this is such a free-flowing exhaust. It is going to move a lot more exhaust than stock, which means that the fuel system does need a little bit of compensation. So you're going to want to consider a fuel tuner when you're buying this exhaust too. It's almost a necessity when you have a pipe that's going to run like this. Something that's all business and real short like this flows a lot of exhaust. You're going to need to definitely modify that fuel system while you're out there. Other than that, about the only snafu we ran into when we were installing the exhaust was that the heat shield clamps they include are super duper long. It's kind of a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing in that it makes it really easy to get the heat shields physically in place on the motorcycle without bending up the clamps really badly. However, it does also mean that there's a little bit of work required as far as ratcheting them down to get them all the way constricted, and also you have a little bit of work to do as far as hiding them. Other than that though, it went on pretty nicely. So as I had mentioned, I really like this thing. It seems like a lot of the other RevZillans really liked this thing, and we're hoping you like this thing as well. Click below to see what some riders who are already rocking a Compass in their bike have to say about it, and leave a comment for another rider if you happen to have one yourself. If you got a question I didn't hit, get in touch with one of our Gear Geeks. We'd love to hear from you. See us at RevZilla.com, or you can always give us a tinkle on the telling bone. 877-792-9455. I'm Lemmy. I'm out of here.